Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking at a book this morning from Oxford University Press. It's one in their series of very substantial volumes. This is The Law of Trusts, now in a second edition by Geraint Thomas and Alastair Hudson. This is the Flickr review here, and you can probably just make out the book. It's sort of greyish, big book. Greyish colour with a green sort of title with Law of Trust written on it. The book itself is a big one. This is what we say. Elizabeth and I, that's my wife Elizabeth and I, we have written this review, and we've said you can trust in OUP for these definitive principles of law. It's always been a pleasure for me to teach the law of trust because it's a human story, especially charities and all the aspects of the great cases. But it's actually a very interesting area of law, but it can be a bit frightening for people. However, it's another book on trusts, and this one, now in the second edition, by Thomas and Hudson, they've produced a definitive modern work which analyses over 200 new cases since the first edition appeared. And you think, well, why have we got this book when there are loads of other books? Well, there are textbooks, and this is really more of a definitive work. It's got the standard layout for OUP. I haven't got the book here. It's a very heavy book, but it's got good footnotes, good cases, great index at the back, and the paragraphing, which of course is very useful. There are 11 contributors to this work, and the book has 59 chapters covering every conceivable aspect of modern trust law in around about 1700 pages, so it's a heavy book in all senses of the meaning. The new edition has been substantially rewritten and explains the shape of the law today. It's coherent, it's balanced with the case law and the statutes which it looks at, and there's useful academic content to offer something for everybody on an acceptable detailed level. It's not too difficult to read. I mean, some of the trust books can be very hard going. This one I found quite easy. The aim of the writers is to offer a contribution to the available literature on trust law, and they do just that in our view. It's always going to be difficult to compete, if that's the right word, with the well-known and established works, but Thomas and Hudson on Trusts, as I'd like to call them, has filled a particular spot well. It gives an account of foundation principles, which is absolutely fundamental, of course, to anyone doing the LLB, and it applies those principles to the many different forms that modern trusts now take. And we particularly like the reference to international jurisdictions, which is a plus factor for many readers today, and of course practitioners, as we become more globalized. Thomas and Hudson have added a new dimension, therefore, to the ongoing discussion on trusts, and it helps the user understand the progress which has taken place in recent years in this most interesting field of law. One thing is, as I say right at the beginning, it's always a joy to teach the subject, and it's made even more enjoyable by this excellent new, intelligently conceived edition. So thank you very much to Geraint Thomas and Alastair Hudson, and of course to OUP, for their very good, excellent work. Thank you. Bye-bye.